Pleasurewood Hills is a strange one, tucked away in Suffolk and often forgot when compared to other UK theme parks. It's even owned by the same people that run Drayton Manor, but it does feel like the forgotten sibling. So let's go through all the rides and see what should be kept and what should be scrapped. Right, let's start with the headline attraction, Wipeout, or Wipeout 2.0 it is known now. It's just a Vekoma boomerang, and they've recently put a new train on it. I say new train, it's believed to have come from another park, but it's new to this park and it is a slightly different style because the restraints are kind of a little bit odd. Kind of more comfortable but kind of painful at the same time. It's just this kind of metal bar that kind of goes over your stomach, but there's no padding on it, so it's a little bit odd. Other than that, it's a fairly standard boomerang, you know, pulls you up the hill, lets you down, does all the inversions, and then does the whole thing in reverse. That said, it's still a pretty good coaster. I enjoyed it and I went on it multiple times, so let's start strong. Chuck it in the keep pile. When I visited, I didn't have a lot of luck. Now, the park is, as I said at the start, tucked away in the middle of nowhere for a lot of people. Certainly for me up in Scotland, it was an 8-hour drive. So I didn't stay till the end of the day, I left kind of early. Two of the coasters weren't running when I was there. One of them came back after I had left, which is kind of typical. But one of the ones I didn't get on was Cannonball Express. I don't think it would be anything special, but I didn't get on it. So if you've been to the park and you've ridden it, let me know what it's like. Right, the park also has some flat rides. Actually, it's got a reasonably good selection of rides. The park is a little strange though, but one of the flat rides it has is a wave swinger. As with a lot of parks, it's imaginatively named Wave Swinger. If you've watched the channel long enough, you know I do like swinging rides, and this is one of them. So yeah, there's nothing special about it, but I'm going to keep it. Another flat ride they've got is their pirate boat. Now theirs is Shiver Me Timbers, and it's weird. Like it's not the really small kiddie pirate boat, but it's also not, or it doesn't feel like a full-size one. It was sort of somewhere in the middle, and I think for that reason it kind of struggles to. It's definitely not a thrilling one, but it's obviously not for the really, really young. It's kind of that middle of the road, which is kind of where I'm going to put it. I'm not going to say keep, I'm not going to say scrap. I'm just going to chuck it and take it or leave it. So the other coaster that I did get on was Egg-spress. A strange little thing that it is, obviously themed after eggs for some reason. Very long train, very strange profile, and there's definitely bits where the clearance envelope is almost non-existent, so if you don't behave, you're going to hit your hand on something, or hit your head if you're a little bit taller than me. But you know, it's a kids coaster, and I always say I'd like a kids coaster in a park. This park's obviously aimed at a slightly younger audience. I wouldn't say it's quite the kind of, it's not like CBeebies level, but it's definitely not kind of the older kids either, so it's sort of in that kind of middle ground. So this coaster is perfect for the park, even if it is a very strange little thing. So for that reason alone, I'm going to keep it. Now, the day that I visited was rather warm. As you can imagine, when it's a warm day, well, you want a water ride. And they had a couple of them. One of them is their log flume, and it is known as Water Fun Factory. And it was pretty good. I mean, I definitely got wet. I'm not sure if I got wet so much from the two hills, because there's two drops, and I'm pretty sure I did get a sprinkling from that. But you know, as is the case with a lot of these ones, there's more that kind of, you pass on other boats that, you know, causes all the water to come slushing out the trough and soak you. So I definitely got wet on it, and given the context of how warm it was that day, it was much needed. So another one I'm going to keep. Sticking with my lack of luck on this trip, there was another ride that was out of operation. So they've got a drop tower known as Jolly Roger, and it's right beside that pirate boat. I could see it in bits, so I did not get on it. Again, not expecting this to be anything spectacular, but it did look like kind of middle of the road sort of drop tower. If you've done it, well, let me know. There's another water ride here. Well, it's kind of, there's water involved. I don't know if you would call it a water ride per se. It's basically the, you know, the sort of slides. I don't know if it's 2 or 3 slides. It's weird because it says on it that you have to go on in groups of 2. You cannot do this as a single rider, which I don't kind of understand. I don't think it's a weight thing because, you know, some adults can weigh more than 2 kids. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. In any case, fortunately I was there with my daughter and my partner, so my daughter came on with me, and it was a lot of fun. So it's over in seconds, and then it takes you a couple of minutes to climb back up those bloody stairs. But yeah, it was pretty good. And again, given the day I was there, I needed to cool down. So it's another one I'm going to keep. Right, Pleasurewood Hills might be the forgotten sibling of Drayton Manor, but do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Dark rides are kind of hit and miss in this country, let's be fair, right? There are some places that do a really good job of them, right? Blackpool has a few decent dark rides. Alt Manor, sure, that's pretty good as well. But then there's some absolute clangers, and this park has one of them, and it's called Tootin Target Trail. There's so many weird things about this. Like when I got on it, so there's, in the queue line going in, so it's, as you can probably guess, there's a cowboy theme going on here, kind of Wild West. When you go in, there's like a scoreboard up on the screen, like when you go in, which is fine. But I don't think I could see my score in the vehicle. The vehicle I got chucked in had broken guns, so one of us had to sit in the front, one of us had to sit in the back. And then when you get off the ride, there was no screens to tell you your score. So either I had a really, really bad car and it was meant to show me my score, or everybody in the queue can see your score but you can't. Coupled with that, there's loads and loads of really dark spots, a couple of bits where it's kind of lit up and there's some audio and animation, but generally it was pretty poor. So scrap it. The other coaster that I did not get on my visit was Marble Madness. And this is the one that annoyingly opened after I had left. As I say, I think I left 1 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock, because I had an 8-hour drive ahead of me to get home. And then we were there on a social event, Love to Explore had sorted it out. And then he messaged me and said, sorry Chris, come back.
Sibby, do you want to break the news to Chris, who left earlier? We came all this way from Scotland for the cred.
Buddy, I'm sorry to tell you, but what's it called?
Marble Madness.
Marble Madness is working.
So they were working on it when I was there. There was some engineers fiddling around with it. I'm pretty sure it's just a standard wild mouse. I'm not expecting anything spectacular from it. But there's another one I didn't get on. So if you did, well, let me know. Right, there's loads of little kiddie rides that I'm not going to cover because, you know, I usually don't because I won't have experienced them, probably shouldn't experience them. But there's one that's kind of on that kind of borderline, and it's a ride that I've done in Gulliver's, I've done in this park, and I saw so many of them when I was over in the US, and I do not understand it, I do not like it, I don't know why it was ever created, I don't know why parks buy them, and I don't know why they still exist. And now theirs is called Kite Flyer, and it's one of those Zamperla cheese toasty maker things. You know, so like, sort of almost like the gondola, or the train, sorry, from the Volare, so Hero at Flamingoland, except there's no coaster involved here. You're literally all kind of suspended from this kind of carousel that goes around, and it's not very comfortable. It's a waste of space, it's slow, it's boring, it's painful, and I don't understand why it exists. So no surprises, this one is going in the scrap pile. Next to Egg-spress, they had some dodgems. Now theirs is called Bumper Car Garage. And I don't know what to say about these. They were dodgems. Like, there's nothing spectacular about them. They weren't bad, they weren't great. They were just a set of dodgems. There's not very many of them though. I want to say there's only like 5 or 6 on the track. So if there's a queue, it doesn't move very fast. So yeah, take it or leave it. Right, that's a really quick one because it's kind of an odd park. It's reasonably small. I obviously missed out on a bunch of things because it wasn't working. And as I said earlier, it's the sort of forgotten park by Looping Group. I actually don't think they're going to be chucking much more money at this. They've obviously done some work on Wipeout, so it's not like they've completely abandoned it, but I think its location isn't great for the majority of people. Now, I am obviously the extreme being up here in Scotland, but even a lot of people I've spoken to down south say the same thing, that it's just out of the way and forgotten about. So listen, I'd love to know your thoughts. Have you even been to the park? Did you even know it existed? And do you agree or disagree with my ride lineup? As always, I've been Chris, you've been watching Coaster Dad, and if you haven't seen my visit to that park, well, chuck it up here.